Hi guys! I was originally planning on doing something else for this class video, but then Miley Cyrus happened, so let's talk about white feminism and intersectionality. Intersectionality is this idea that the kind of different social categories that we find ourselves in can affect the way that we move through the world and the way we're perceived by people. And it's important to remember that someone who, say, a black queer woman in the lower class is not going to have the same experiences as a white straight woman in the upper and middle class. And that's kind of where white feminism comes in. And that's this idea that a lot of times middle and upper class white women will kind of completely ignore women of color when they're talking about feminism and kind of like the experiences they're going through and what to do about them. And Miley Cyrus has garnered a lot of attention recently for some of her activities, and so let's talk about why some of the things that Miley Cyrus has done recently is an example of white feminism. So back in about 2013, Miley Cyrus overhauled her good girl image and kind of took on a persona that a lot of people found really offensive, and a lot of people accused her of appropriating black culture, and I think she was. She would feature all black dancers on her stage shows and in her videos. She was appropriating, the use of dreadlocks or, having a gold grill. And she was kind of purposefully projecting this persona of like ratchetness in like twerking and dancing with a giant inflatable penis and kind of just behaving in almost a stereotypical offensive manner, and kind of perpetuating a lot of cultural stereotypes that African Americans face. And because she's a white woman, she got to do this pretty much as she wanted without anyone really telling her that it was offensive. And she also didn't get any grief for the way that she behaved. She was just seen as being herself. And I think it's important to note that if someone in a similar position who was, say, African American, like let's say a young African American TV star, changes her appearance and she starts wearing a gold grill and gets dreadlocks and starts aggressively like twerking at shows, people would probably say a lot different things than they said about Miley Cyrus doing it. When Miley Cyrus did it, it was just her finding herself or being herself. And it's important to note that not all women have the option of doing that because it could be seen as detrimental to them. Black women are constantly told to change their natural hair and use relaxers or straighteners, and they're told that getting locks or wearing their hair natural is gross, but when Miley Cyrus does it, it's just a fashion statement. And recently she was on the news again because she'd come out in this interview saying that she no longer, I want to say appreciated, but she no longer respected the hip-hop industry because of the way that they treat women. And it's important to note that while she was appropriating this black culture, she was exemplifying stereotypes of black women, being involved in songs about, like stripping or guys saying degrading things about women. And she, as a white woman, had the opportunity and the choice now to step away from that and take on an entirely different persona. And a black woman would not have that ability. She gets to just shed this skin that she was wearing and just decide that now hip hop is super sexist and she doesn't want to be a part of it anymore. And she comes out in this magazine wearing this like frilly pink dress and hiding her tattoos, and it just really exemplifies the fact that she had a choice to do that. Whereas a lot of like black women entertainers, it doesn't matter what they do. If they act too stereotypically black, then they're gonna get grief for it. And if they act too stereotypically white, they're gonna get grief for that too. They don't have the ability to move around and pick and choose what kind of aspects of culture they want to use. They're kind of pigeonholed into a certain way to behave and act. And so when Miley Cyrus says things like, I'm just being myself because she got dreadlocks, she's completely ignoring the fact that tons of women don't even feel like they can do something like that. Tons of African American women, because they'll be judged or could possibly lose their job for the way that they dress or act. And so then for her to then turn around and dismiss this, it just comes off as really privileged and her unaware of what that privilege means and her ability to kind of fluidly move through all of these different subcultures and take what she wants from them and then insult and dismiss them when she no longer feels that they're suiting her or her message. And that's why it's important for all women, women of color and white women, to understand and see where the other one is coming from, especially white women with women of color, and to understand that the struggles are not the same. And while I'm sure that Miley Cyrus has struggles as a female in the entertainment industry, that's a whole different situation. She does not face the same struggles that a woman of color in the music industry faces. So I think that's about all the time there is. So thank you for listening. Bye.